Well, from the summit, it was very clear that the government is extending an arm of partnership and is looking for partners to be able to help it move the needle when it comes to the big four. So, American businesses are market leaders when you're talking technology, when you're talking healthcare, when you're talking manufacturing. And I think the opportunity for American business to really come in and be able to help the government realize its objectives around the big four is apparent for everyone.
Now, one of the biggest conversations that were happening is that we do see some American companies like Coca-Cola, like Ringley, they're opening up new facilities. We did see Ringley on the same opening up at least Coca-Cola having about 10,000 jobs that it accounts for in the Kenyan market. And we do see Ringley also opening up to a 7 billion confectionery factory. How does this actually now have an impact on the Kenyan economy itself?
Well, as you know, these are big employers in this country. Other than the fact that it's a huge investment by itself, I think Wrigley we are talking about 7 billion shillings, which is about 700 million Kenya shillings. This is $700 million. This is significant in the sense that we actually have key players who are coming in and investing more into this country. We have players who are willing to create employment, players who are willing to be able to drive opportunities and open up the market here in Kenya. And so we are very confident that through American investment and also broadly trade between Kenya and the US, we're actually able to create better opportunities, grow and expand the markets, and be able to realize the objectives around the Big Four.
Allow me to narrow down on the Big Four agenda by President Uhuru Kenyatta. This has been going on for some good time now. Even when the budget came out, much of the money was actually allocated to the Big Four to have affordable housing, food security, healthcare, universal healthcare, and growth of manufacturing in the country. Now, what were the main conversations at the economic summit as of last week? Just narrow it down, and please come close to the camera because I really can't see
you. Sorry about that. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what we did is that we had about 6 different conversations going on. As you know, there's the big 4 areas: manufacturing, healthcare, food security, housing. But we also had conversations around the digital economy, and we also had conversations around the workforce development. So basically how we can ensure that our workforce is primed to be able to contribute effectively to of this country. And the conversations really centered around various aspects, from investment in terms of financial input that is required to realize the various projects and initiatives within the pillars. It also centered around policy discussions. How do we make sure that the environment is enabling from a policy perspective? Also centered around issues relating to business practices that would then help realize and expand the space. So I'm talking here about procurement policies, issues relating to graft as well, which is a key factor right now in Kenya, and we know that the Kenyan government is fighting actively to ensure that we're able to put this behind us and give confidence to any investor who wants to invest in this space.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. That actually makes a lot of sense. That we did also sign a memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi. One more question, though, before we go. Just help me understand, what are a few of what's in this memorandum of understanding, if I may ask you?
So this memorandum of understanding builds on a memorandum of understanding that was signed between Kenya and the U.S. In 2015 that focused primarily on infrastructure and looked at ways in which American businesses can actually present what we call unsolicited proposals to government for infrastructure projects. Now, with this current MOU, we've expanded that to include the big 4 areas and basically expand it So it's not limited to just infrastructure, but we can talk about manufacturing, we can talk about healthcare, we can talk about food security and the rest. And so basically it gives us a much bigger platform as American entities to be able to engage in projects.